Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are dialing in from. It is so awesome to see all of you. Welcome to Colorado Career Connectors. I am Chelle Johnson, and I'm super excited about our content today. If you are just new, we welcome you. Hi, Brent. Hi, Dana. Neely, it's so nice to have you here. Paula, we love to have very engaging and inclusive sessions. So if you can, please put yourself on the computer, like on video. We don't care if you're eating. We know this is Monday lunchtime. And the reason we do that is because we want to provide you with great speakers and great content that will help motivate your week, to help you to have takeaways that you can then use throughout your week. And Ivette Bell is my director of operations, and you will see her. She will, she just put welcome. And if you're comfortable, please put in your contact information. Colorado Career Connectors is here to help you network. We're here to help you gain professional development on topics that you can use and takeaways that you can use today. We are recording this session, and we'll get started in just a moment. We have over 52 people who have RSVP'd, and it's really nice to see all of you. Hi, Amy. Nice to see you. Joyce, hello. Paula, Dina, Kim, Kevin. Again, if you would please, hi, Marianne, good to see you too. Hi, Laura. Laura and Laura. We have two Lauras, awesome. And Diana, nice to see you. Please put yourself on video, drink coffee, have an early happy hour. We don't care, it's really all good with us. All right, as we, thank you, Marianne, for putting that in there. Again, my name is Chelle Johnson. I am the CEO and founder of Colorado Career Connectors, and I started Colorado Career Connectors in March of 2021. And since that time, we have had over 40 events, truly community-focused events with great speakers, the heads of talent, the heads of HR, and we're very happy to say that our community is growing. I'm going to share my screen in just a moment. Bear with us as we get more people in. How's everybody doing today? Can I get a thumbs up? Yeah, doing well? Awesome. Okay. It's really nice to see all of you. How many of you are currently job seekers looking for work? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. How many of you are now currently working in a consulting capacity? All right. How many of you have full-time jobs but just want something different in 2023 and are looking for deeper level development? Marianne, thank you. Okay. I'd like you to let us know, where do you land in those categories? If you are a job seeker, what are you seeking? If you are a consultant, how is that going for you? If you are looking for professional development, we're always looking for ideas on bleeding edge topics that mean the most to you, because our community really is all about bringing you what you need. So today we're going to talk about the alignment. How do you align your personal and professional goals? And we're really lucky to have Ivette Flower here speaking with us. She is a high achievers coach, and she and I met through networking. She and I both are a part of a group called Second Act Women, and I'll be talking a little bit about them as well. The power of networking can be the ripple effect of that. Brent and I actually had a chance to talk the other day, and I think I sent him 3 or 4 ideas. This is all about idea generation. If you see someone on here that you want to get to know better, reach out to them. Kevin, it's nice to see you. Hi, Michaela, Christy. All right, we have about 25 people. Thank you so much for all of the people in the chat for putting information in there. So like I said, I'm Shelley Johnson, and I started my own business in 2019. I led talent for companies like Comcast and Lockheed Martin and Quest Diagnostics Arizona. And I kept moving up and up and up the Fortune 500 career ladder. And then I got to the director level at a Fortune 50. And I looked around and I'm like, now what? My whole life was, and my identity was, who am I in the community? Who am I in the business? And I kind of lost part of who I was as a human, as a mom, as a sister. Can any of you relate to that? Thank you, Yvette, right? And I was very happy to take a very nice severance package from Comcast. And I tell you this story because in the past 5 months, tech companies like Amazon and Microsoft and Twitter and Google have laid off over 150,000 people. And at Microsoft, if they couldn't open their computer or get into the system, that is how they found out they were laid off. At Amazon, same thing. So there's a saturation of layoffs going on in the tech and the startup community. I know how that feels. There are people that on this call that know how that feels. And if that is you, we welcome you. We want to let you know that this is temporary. How you are feeling is temporary. And through groups like this, we hope that this gives you a bit of Monday motivation, but long-term motivation to know that there is a spot and there is space enough for everyone. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I am an executive coach, and I have coached people, not just at the executive level, but really mid-career. And several of you, couple of you on the phone, one of my clients just got promoted at Colorado School of Mines. She got a 40% increase in pay. Another one of my clients, you can look at my LinkedIn recommendations, just was in a low paying job. We got her back in her field with a $22,000 increase in pay. One of the people on this call left a very toxic environment. We've gotten her much more comfortable with who she is and now at this crossroads of the next step. And she's stepping into diversity, equity, and inclusion. And she's making a footprint for herself in that. I give you these stories because I work with people from toxic environments that felt underrepresented, underpaid, undervalued, overwhelmed, and completely stressed. And if that's you, I'd love to chat with you just one-on-one. And Colorado Career Connectors is my nonprofit where we have free events every other week. And we bring in people like Ivette Flower, and she's got some great content. So get out your pen. Hopefully you received the brochure and the handout from her to follow along to talk about your core values. Now, at the same time, in November of 2021, do you remember when all these articles were like, we need recruiters, we need recruiters? So I'm not just a coach, I'm actually a recruiter, an executive recruiter. And I just recently found chief financial officer, general manager, director of engineering, UX, UI. And I say that because I have a unique view as a recruiter for what companies are looking for and as a coach. So I get to wear both hats. So sometimes you'll hear me as a coach and sometimes you'll hear me as a recruiter. Questions on either side, please let me know. All right. I'm very blessed to be a positive intelligence certified coach, as well as Yvette. And she and I are going to talk to you a little bit about that today as part of her presentation. We have two Yvettes today. I feel like I'm surrounded by Yvette love. Yvette Bell, who is my director of operations. She's an amazing graphic designer and she owns 20 Mile Creative. If you are thinking about starting your own business, you need logos, you need presentations, anything. She does an amazing job, and she's an amazing partner and friend for me. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's coming up for Colorado Career Connectors. February is going to be focused on aging and the stereotypes and the myths that people who are over 40 have to overcome. I'm honored to be bringing you Janine Vandenberg, who is the founder of Changing the Narrative. She's going to be a speaker at a Second Act Women Career Con, as well as I'm going to be a speaker. So February 4th and 5th, I'll talk about that in just a minute. We're going to continue that, and we're going to talk about how to overcome the stereotypes that aging has. If being over 40 is creating issues and helping you or hindering you from finding a job, let's talk about that. It's the only area where companies can still openly discriminate by what is your date of birth, or like, what is the year you graduated from high school? That is, in my mind, and excuse my language, but total crap. So Janine is really trying to do what she can to change law on that. And so I really hope you come to January 6th. We will have more details on that event coming up shortly. We are just finalizing the description for that. On February 4th and 5th, it's a Saturday and Sunday. I invite you to join us at Career Con. It is put on by Second Act Women, but we are not age discriminatory or gender discriminatory. This is sponsored by CBS Channel 4, the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce, and also Western Union. And we will be streaming this event. I will be speaking on modern tips and best practices for the current workplace. And so I hope to see you there. There are several recruiters that are very good friends of mine, like Theta Johnson from DocuSign, and MJ Specht from Samsara, and Brian Kerr from Sovereign, and Lisa Carmen, who is a resume writer. She and I partner together in so many ways. Janine Vandenberg will be there. Bridget McDaniel from LinkedIn with LinkedIn tips for you. The leader of Denver Scholarship Fund, Rosa Buffalo, who is a coach from the Workforce Development Center in Jeffco, and more. So if you are looking to spend 2 days to totally focus on just you, again, we invite you to that. There is a $20 off code. You can go and sign up for that. It's literally 20, the number 20, and the word OFF, where you can get discounts for that. And Yvette Bell, if you want to put that in the chat, I would really, really appreciate it. Okay, I'm just going to check the chat really quick. We've got lots of things going on. It's going to be a great event. Thank you, Neely. Neely is also going to be a career coach there. She also focuses in on neuropsychology. Neely, if I'm not giving you full credit, just Neely will be there. Thank you for the discount code. There will be several coaches, and I will be speaking, and I'm also a career coach that's going to be partnering with several people. So we invite you. Thank you for downloading the workbook. Okay, are you guys ready to go? Awesome. If you have not had a chance to subscribe to Colorado or cocareerconnectors.org, I invite you now to do so. We have amazing content. We have free events. You can do a recap of the events that we've had in the past. Free resume, do-it-yourself downloads, free LinkedIn optimization guides, information on how to create a success team or a job club, information on if you've gone through corporate burnout and betrayal, information on anything that you need out there. We have a YouTube channel that you can go out, and that's all free content for you. So please look at that. There's also coaches, resume writers, other events that are going on, again, because we are here for the entire Colorado community. So get on our waiting list, on our subscription list. It's my absolute pleasure to bring Ivette Flower to the speakers platform today. She is with iflowersolutions.com. And again, she and I met through networking, through going to a breakfast at Second Act Women and kind of knowing we were in the same circles. And I'm like, I got to find out more about what you do, because as a job seeker, sometimes you aren't productive, and it's because you're up here in your head. And that inner critic is sabotaging you. So we're going to talk about your core values. Yvette, why don't I just turn it over to you and let you take it from here? And I'm going to be keeping track of the chat. I hope to see all of you at CareerCon. If I can personally help you, I do a free 30-minute discovery call where you will get 2 to 3 tips that you can take away today to implement for your professional development. Yvette, please take it from here.
Thank you, Chelle. Thank you so much for welcoming me today. And it's so great to see so many familiar faces in there. I just love it. So, you brought up something a little bit ago about that when you were at the height of your career and your mom, you kind of lost yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like that happens to a lot of us, whether you're mom, dad, caretaker, entrepreneur, we are wearing so many hats. And wouldn't you say that that was energy draining for you when you were going through that?
I felt like my soul was completely sucked out, and I write that on my bio and my website. It's almost like this part of you is just completely sucked out. And so yes. And I saw lots of people shaking their heads to understand that. So yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad that resonates, because the reason why I started my company after being a top producing sales executive for over 20 years is that I felt that. And especially when you are an entrepreneur, business owner, or a sales executive, your goal is to always go after that next deal, right? What's in the pipeline? What's up next? And you don't really give yourself a chance to celebrate or enjoy much of it for very long. You're just going, and you're trying to do it all. You're wearing all these hats, and then guess what? You get burnt out. And that's what happened to me. I actually could not remember the words to keys because there was so much mind chatter going on. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I was at pickup and drop off. I would have 6 hours to have meetings and then skip lunch, of course, because who has time to eat when you've got to go. And I wasn't taking care of me. I was last on my to-do list. And so the gym I never made my way to the gym, even though I had a membership, barely drank water. And so no wonder my body was finally shutting down. And I thought, oh boy, this is my wake-up call, right? So that is why I have started my company, so that I can help entrepreneurs, business owners, and sales executives have that improvement on the mental fitness that you discussed earlier, but also increase productivity. And I know that sometimes that doesn't sound like it's even doable. How can I avoid burnout, right? And increase productivity? Well, guess what? A lot of it has to do with your values. So I'm so excited that we get to talk about this today, because when I started finally living in my values is when some of that calmness came back into my life finally. And the pandemic also helped with that. Okay, so are we ready to roll? Yvette, we're at 12:20 now. In about 20 minutes, I want to make sure we've got enough time to get to breakouts, but maybe in 15 minutes, you can give me a 5-minute heads up, and then I'll see where I'm at with the presentation. Okay. So I would love to know, with a show of hands, do you subscribe to the European out of office message or the American out of office message?
Yvette, we're not seeing your screen.
Well, thank you. I'm seeing my screen's funny. Okay, hold on a second. All right, can you guys see my screen now?
Yep, perfect.
Wonderful. So let me start that again. With a show of hands, Laura's actually reading it. I see Michaela's reading it. Do you subscribe to the European out of office message, or do you subscribe to the American out of office message? Raise your hand if you subscribe to the American out of message, which is, I've left the office for 2 hours to undergo kidney surgery, but you can reach me on my cell phone anytime. Versus the European out of message, I'm away camping for the summer, probably with my family, right? Please email me back in September and have a great day. So I didn't see any hands go up. I'm assuming the American out of office message is what everyone, yeah, I see.
Mariana's like, is there an out of office message? That's funny. Good one.
Yeah. Oh, good one. Yes. That's funny. So the idea is, how do you help yourself when you have so much going on? Like if you've got a surgery or a setback or too much going on. And so the idea of having a full mind versus being mindful. I joke here with, this little meme here, because my kids never get called the right name anyway. And then I've just kind of mushed them all together to come Jessely, which is Connor, Emily, and Jesse. One of you come here. So when your mind is full, the idea here is that you're anxious, that you're stressed, that you feel some distraction of, oh, let me start this. Oh, there's a message coming through, or now I've got to put out this fire, or you're always working on stress mode. Can anyone relate to that? And then if you look here on the left-hand side, the procrastination, which is the big thing for productivity with what I see with my clients, is they are uncertain, so they're not going to do anything. They are afraid of success, so they're not going to do anything. They are afraid to fail, so they're not going to do anything. And they're afraid of not doing it perfectly, so they're not going to do anything. So if you stay on the side where you've got this full mind, you feel your heart pounding, you feel like you're always behind the ball, even when you wake up first thing in the morning. Can anyone relate to that feeling? Yeah. Versus, are you being mindful? And Chelle alluded a little bit to this on positive intelligence, but if you can think of having a mindful mindset, then you are aware of those times where your saboteur is taking over, where you can find some joy in your day, even when times are challenging. You are a little bit more calm. And when you're calm, you've got this part of the brain that's activated that now makes you think outside the box, makes you think of a solution to a challenge rather than trying to play catch up with it. And then you can move to action. So that's what the foundation that we're going to talk about today, that helps you having that, being that mindful part of the brain. So today we are going to talk about our core values and how you can use them either to create career goals, personal goals, professional goals. And I'm going to teach you some habits to be able to execute on them without feeling overwhelmed or having that decision fatigue. How's that sound? Good. I see a lot of nods. The outcome for today is you're going to identify your top 10 core values. You're going to focus on 3 of them. We're going to create smarter strategic goals, and I'll share with you what that is, and build habits that are not just, a habit you do for a day or two. Let's talk about long-lasting habits that you could have And then how do you execute on them and not let your saboteurs take over? And then have an inner compass where you can decide, okay, am I going to focus on this today? Am I going to let this overwhelm me? How do I analyze a little bit of this and get to that peace of mind that I need to be mindful? Okay, so we are going to go, if everybody can pull up their workbook. I will be, oh, hold on. I am pulling this up on my end because I want you to see the workbook as well. And it logged me out because I took too long.
Yvette Bell just put the workbook link if you don't have it. And you guys, this is like a gold mine of information for you that you can use and take away. So please download it. And this is going to be a working session for you today, whether you're a business owner, you need career goals, whatever. It's time to get busy. We love interaction and engagement. So make sure that you're present with Yvette. And you guys ready to go? You have it downloaded? Thumbs up. All right.
And the great thing about this is if you, I'm going to share my screen here in a sec. If you pull it up on a PDF reader, like a PDF filler or PDF escape, that you can actually work on this on your computer today. So if you haven't, hopefully you've had a chance to print it and then you can fill it in. And we will go back to this page here. Well, this is just your outcomes, but the commitment agreement, we're going to come back to that later. But if you scroll down, and I'm going to give you a tip on a 2-minute rule. Now, our core values are the behaviors that you already are drawn to. It's actually part of your essence. If you think about who you were as a child, on what brought you joy, what brought you excitement in your day, that is what you value. Sometimes you can put words to it, sometimes you can't. And that's what we're going to do today, is to actually put words to what those core values are, and then put you on a path to actually being able to honor them. One thing I want you to understand, that this is your North Star. And if you're a little lost from, gosh, what do I value? I'm going to give you a lot of ideas of what you value. But guess what? This is your own definition of what you value. This isn't anyone else's definition. So I want you to think of these when they pop up, of what they mean to you. And then think about your values as something that can be applicable to your personal and professional life. So what do I mean by that? So let's say, as you go through these values, that relationships are key and they're important, networking relationships, right? Like Shelley mentioned earlier, if that is what you value, guess what? You value that in your personal life. So you probably value that with time with your children, time with your spouse, time with your parents. And then you also value it with your clients. You value it with colleagues. You value it with networking. And you perceive, or you're perceived in that value when people talk about you. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay. So the program that I have put together with this handout today talks a lot about how do we align these values to be easy to follow in your regular day, in your everyday life, and how do we build goals around them so we're honoring them. Okay. Hold on here. I was going the other direction. All right. So I've given you instructions. If for some reason you have not been able to pull up the PDF reader, you can do this later on to do this on your own, or you could just write down as we go through if for some reason you didn't get a chance to print this out. I also have a video that you could watch that helps you to narrow down your core values, but we're going to have an opportunity to do that today as well. Now, when you go through this as a PDF reader, you can actually check off, achievement is one of my core values, autonomy is one of my core values, control, is that a core value? So you can just go through this and don't think too much about it. As you are looking through these and you're reading it, click on it. Let's try and get to 20 to 25. But I'm going to give you some time to just go through this on your own. And as you're going through this, I'm just going to put out some ways to narrow down your values. Everyone with me? Good. Okay. When you're clicking through these or you're circling through these for your top 20 to 25, think about, does this define me? Does empathy, is that really what defines me? Is faith something that you're thinking, gosh, that's like the overall arching one, no matter what, right? Family. Now think about some of these overlapping as well. So if family is important and so is relationships, then maybe don't do both of them. We can cross one off later. I've had people who love beauty and being fashionable as part of their value. Again, this is up to you. Do you want to be a lifelong learner? Is your health your top value? I have plenty of clients that have picked romance. Even the ones that aren't married want that as a top value. What does security mean to you? Because guess what? Wealth can mean security, right? Strength could mean security. Success means security. So we're going to go through those. Another question to ask yourself is this who I am when I'm at my best? When I'm at my best, is professional growth something I want to focus on? When I'm at my best, do I love to travel? Now, wealth, I want you guys to think of, there was a client that I worked with who had a great breakthrough. She did not want to use that word wealth in anything. She felt that wealth meant greedy. It meant that she wanted all the money to herself. It meant that she would be seen as someone who, valued wealth, and she didn't want to be, associated with the word wealth. Well, when we did this exercise, she finally realized that wealth meant security. It meant she could go travel. It meant that she could charge more for her time because she wanted to feel financially secure. She wanted to go travel with her family. And then security, like I said, was the big one for her. So that mindset shift actually triggered her to ask for more money with her current client. And she went on in 3 months to quadruple her sales, because no longer was she selling her services for $25 an hour. She was a copywriter. So does anyone want to share, or is anyone having a hard time bringing down their values to 20 to 25 yet? Does anyone need more time? Raise your hand.
I can share if you're looking for that. I don't know.
Yes, please share with me.
Okay, Joyce Foy still here. So my top 10 values, which align a lot with my Clifton strengths, I like to put a plug in for that.
Yes.
Achievement, communication, connection, faith, integrity, love, open-mindedness, service, variety, and probably my favorite, zest.
Zest. Yes, I know. I put that one in there. That's
Old
a good
fashioned
one.
zeal. I like
Yeah.
zeal too.
Jolene, you raised your hand. Did you want to share?
I'm
You're on.
actually still going through, so if
You're the one
someone
that said you needed more time.
to share, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Now, thank you, Joyce, for sharing your top 10. Now, how did you get to your top 10 so quickly? Did you do the homework?
I've done this, not my first rodeo.
Not your first rodeo.
Yeah,
Good.
I've done this exercise before. Yeah.
Good, good. Now, I want you to also think of this as a filter that you could use to make hard decisions. Now, just to give you an example, when I was in trade show sales, it's a very high demanding job. We were always going. Guess what? There was a lot of moving parts. You had to communicate with your client, your design team, the account managers, and then the people that were setting up the booth to make sure that, you know, the shipper had done what they needed to do so everyone can do what they needed to do, right? Well, when I was getting up in the morning, guess what I was doing? I was going straight to the phone. Okay, what happened last night that I didn't see that now I've got to, what fires do I need to put out? And so I was at my son's soccer game and he was out there running around playing soccer and I wasn't really paying attention because there was my phone, right? Can anyone relate to that? You're not really in the moment. And so even though I thought I valued family time, I was not present during that time. So can you use this to make a filter to make tough decisions and say, you know what? I saw that email come through. I'm living in my value, whatever that is. I will get back to it during the scheduled time that you get back to messages, right? Let's not be reactive. Let's be proactive. So the idea, and I've given you a space here if you don't see, does anyone have like a value that you don't see written on there?
It's Yvette. I'm just giving you the heads up you asked for on time.
Oh, thank you. Do I have 5 minutes then?
It is 12:38 right now.
Okay, so I have a few minutes. Okay, good.
Mhm.
Well, wonderful. What I want to be able to do next with you is once you've got your 20 to 25, let's go through, let's give you another minute. And I don't even want you to think too hard. Start crossing off till you can get to 10. And think about how they overlap with each other. That might make it easy. And then we're going to go into breakout sessions because the idea here is to say this value out loud and be able to define what that value is. So if you go, when you're done getting to your top 10, if you go to page 13, I'm going to give you an opportunity to, and don't worry if you haven't gotten down to your 10, just look to see what would be your top 3 from those 10 or 20 to 25. And I want you to make a definition and make it in the present tense. So it could start something like, I am someone who values my health. Every day I work out and I make my health my priority. Or what I value and will focus in my life is my health. I keep disease away. I want you to think of it as this is your present tense and it's already happening. Or I am someone who values wealth because I want, or I am financially secure. It allows me to travel. or sorry, because I love to travel, something like that. So I'm going to give you, let's say, 3 more minutes on this part. I don't want to rush you. But I want to give you some time to actually get some stuff done today.
I see a lot of people writing. I love that. For those of you not on camera, I hope that you're writing as well. And I hope you're really honing in on those top 10, those top 5.
Shelley, have you done something like this before in the past?
Yes, I
Your
have.
core values? Do you want to share 1 or 2 of those?
I would love to. I value inclusivity and diversity. I am an ally and an advocate for human beings because I value true human connection.
And I love how you kept it in the present tense. It does something to your psyche when you're already saying this as if it's happened, doesn't it?
Another one might be is I value relationships. My growth as a person and my business has been based on true connection and true relationships with people. And my clients and I build a very strong relationship. I can see some heads nodding on that one. And I truly care about the relationships they have, both personally and professionally.
Yes. And when you say that you value relationships, it's also in your personal life, right? I'm sure it's with your children and your husband and your parents and family. So
Oh, yeah.
That's something that you get that zest from in life, or you get that purpose and sense of meaning from. And that's what I want you to have every day in your life, no matter what's going on, no matter if times are challenging. How was that experience being able to talk about your values? Yeah, good.
I see a
You're on
lot of coming back. That's awesome. Welcome back. I was jumping in between rooms and I heard networking going on. I saw that we have someone who, let me find it. We put a website. For some reason, my chat's not totally coming through. So welcome back, everyone. Was that
By the
you?
way, just an FYI, there's been some changes in Zoom. And so if you go to a breakout room and you come back, the chat is gone.
Okay.
So hopefully somebody in charge like you, maybe can somehow get that information out to attendees. I don't know if that would be possible, but it's a really annoying feature of some chat, some Zoom update.
So Yvette Bell just put in chat that she will try to figure that out. Thank you, Joyce.
Yep, you bet.
Welcome back, everyone. I was jumping in between rooms and I heard some awesome networking going on. I heard some sharing and doing that on a Monday and with people that you haven't met yet. So thank you so much for your continued participation.
Yes. And I would love to, is Natalie still there? There she is. Natalie had a great kind of breakthrough with hers. I would love for her to share what she came up with on the fly and why that's important for her and her career goals.
Can you all hear me? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I was discussing some of my core values, and one in particular I noticed was curiosity, and I think that is definitely a core value of mine, because I've always been interested in science and the outdoors and the environment ever since I was a kid. So I was talking about curiosity as being really a core value of mine, and then realizing that just connecting with others and communicating with others and sharing that knowledge that I have and I've, gained over time is something that would be very interesting to me, especially since we had COVID and since I have actually just moved to Colorado fairly recently, and I would like to, get together with other people a little bit more often and meet people as well. So those two, communication and connection, have become a little bit more important for me actually over the last couple of years, but it ties in with curiosity because I think I can find something that where I can maybe share the knowledge that I have gained.
That's amazing. And for her, it's the career goal path that, if she's going to be in a company, she needs to be able to share her zest for curiosity and to communicate and to connect with others in a way that helps all those three pieces come together. So I know we're running a little late on timing, and I would love to continue with the next part. If for some reason you got stuck and there was, you're just, oh gosh, how do I just even move forward? There is an opportunity to reach out to me, and I can help you through this.
Hey, Yvette.
Yes, my dear.
So since Natalie brought up creativity and curiosity, I just want to put out there that these are the top 2 modern skills that are needed by employers today. So as I put my presentation together for CareerCon and I'm talking about those things, I'm doing a whole piece about curiosity and creativity. And so if you have that, know that employers are absolutely looking for that. And you can ask yourself questions like, and Yvette, Bell, if you can type these in to the chat, what are you curious about? What have you done lately that's creative? And why do you value those things? So I just thought I would dovetail off of those things, especially as you and I chat about positive intelligence and curiosity being one of those powers that you can use to explore, whether it's personally or professionally.
Yes, isn't that amazing to have that in your pocket, right?
Yep.
Back pocket. Okay, Yvette, do I have the capability to share my screen?
Go ahead.
Okay. Let's see here. All right. Can everyone see my screen? It says key takeaways. Yes, thank you for the thumbs up, Laura. Okay. The idea of learning about your values and living in them on a regular basis, it gives you that zest for life, even when you're in a situation that you cannot control. It is your North Star. It is something that you can have, whether for your personal, professional, or your career goals. Your definition is your definition. It does not have to fit into a mold for the rest of society to be able to accept that you value a certain thing in your life. It's who you are when you are at your best. And when I talked about that filter for me is at the end of the day, when I only got to 5 things on my to-do list, which was very long or very, extensive, if I could get to my top 3, which is my health, my relationships, and being intentional with my time, I cannot control if I get a phone call from the school. I cannot control if my internet is down. I cannot control if I couldn't finish a certain task because someone else hadn't done what they were supposed to do. I can give myself that grace, and I can use it as a filter for, have I met these values today? And can I put them, for me, I do it at the beginning of the day. I hope that resonates with you on being able to understand what they are and then apply them. So this was the client I was telling you about that was able to quintuple her sales because of the fact that she decided to change what wealth meant to her. And I love to see those breakthroughs. I have an opportunity if anyone wants to take a picture of either my code here for LinkedIn or Instagram. If you connect with me on one of those platforms, I am giving away a strategic planning session. And that is a 90-minute strategic planning session with me. So now that you have your values and we're going to go into goal setting in a little bit, but you're going to have an idea of goals. If you want to work with me on now being strategic about that, if you tag me on either one of those, I'm going to be giving away, and I'll tell Chelle and Ivette who won by the end of this. Well, the end of the day today, I want to give you the opportunity to do that. I'll do it by tomorrow. Real quick, just a little bit about me. This is my family. I am the mom to 3 teenagers, 15, 17, and 19. We thought that'd be a great idea to make them so close to each other. And it's proven to be, I'll go back to the terrible twos anytime. It's been a challenge with what they have to face in the world these days. It's been a beautiful opportunity for me to learn something about myself because they're here to teach me. My certification is through the International Coaching Federation. I am also a positive intelligence coach. And what I love about what I do is I get to work on mindset and not just give you the tools for the sake of giving you tools, but understand what you value and maybe tailor those tools to be more in line for who you are and what you want to accomplish. There were things that I was able to do in my corporate experience as a top performing sales executive for over 20 years, but the last 12 or 13 in the trade show marketing space. And I was able to work part-time, bringing in a 6-figure income because I was able to be laser focused. And that's why I decided to combine what I do with coaching with productivity. Now, I know not everyone has that superpower of being laser focused. There's lots of distractions. Maybe your values are different, but you want to focus on what matters most. So that's what I help my clients do. If you guys go back to, I think it's the second page or maybe the third one in your workbook, I use this commitment agreement for later because now you've got a little bit of buy-in with what your values are. And you can fill this out for yourself. At the end of your life, I love what positive intelligence does, your older, wiser self. At the end of your life, how do you wish you would have conducted yourself? This is kind of that whole idea of your future me, of what you want to accomplish and how are you going to commit to it, and understanding your why. My why was because I got burnt out. I couldn't do it anymore. I loved the competition. I loved winning awards to Hawaii and Bahamas. I even loved a free lunch. But then I got burnt out and I needed to find something else. So if this is something that speaks to you and you want to commit to yourself, I've already written everything out. Just fill in a couple of blanks and sign it. There is a 2-minute rule. Has anyone heard of the 2-minute rule from Atomic Habits? Chelle? Good. I can't see anyone else's hands going up. What I love about the 2-minute rule is now that you know what your value is, I want you to think of what you can do. Like if your value is lifelong learner. I had a client who wanted to read a book and she was too overwhelmed with everything that was going on. Well, her 2-minute rule was, I'm going to read 1 page every night. And guess what? That 1 page turned into 2 pages because now she didn't want to stop. But she carved out the time. And before she got there, guess what? She put her book on her bed. So before she went to bed, it was there. So think about this. if you want to run 26 miles and do your first marathon, and just the idea of all that training is just overwhelming, so you're like, forget it, I'm not even going to do it. How can you go backwards from that goal? Can anyone think of that? Can anyone think of a 2-minute rule for that? Go ahead. I think I see a hand up. Laura?
Yeah. Walk out the door.
Yes.
Just get out the front door, the back door, out the door, and close it behind you.
Yes. And even before that, Laura, there's another thing. Put on your shoes
on.
You were going to say it, weren't you?
Well, yeah, it's sort of course, there are people who run barefoot. I'm not that crazy, but
You're right.
if that's what's right for you, that's what's right for you.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna down you because that's what's right for you.
Right.
But me, I put on my shoes just to walk around the house. But then again, I'm one of those crazy critters that falls off their bare feet. If I don't want to fall down, I put on my shoes. But yeah, walk out the door, close it behind you, stand there for a minute or two, and go back in. You got started. That's your 2 minutes.
That's exactly it. And there is a person who was able to lose weight by driving to the gym, staying there for 5 minutes, getting back in the car, and going back home. And every time he'd go back 5 minutes until it got a little bit longer and a little bit longer. So I know it sounds silly, but this is all mental mind games that you're playing. So think of that as your 2 minute. And I'll give you the opportunity to write down what your smallest actionable step is going to be from here in a minute. These are more testimonials from my awesome clients. And now we're going to move to the productivity section. We are at 1:07. So we are going to, I want to end on time, and I want to make sure Chelle and I get an opportunity to talk about positive intelligence. So here's your next assignment. Take your 10 core values and put them on the left side of your worksheet. And we're going to create goals. Don't worry about them being specific at this point. But let's say you wanted relationships are your values, right? Your top 3. What is it that you want to do with that goal? Is it having date night? Is it having one-on-one time? If your health is your priority, is it eating whole foods? Is it walking more? If your value, like for Natalie, with curiosity, what is it that sparks curiosity for her? And perhaps there's a goal around that. So if you can, maybe just do your first 3. Don't worry about doing all 10. What I love about focusing on your first 3 is that it gives you a chance to have a win. When you've got 10 things on your list, guess what? You probably don't do any of them. So focus on your top 3 only and create goals. Does anybody want to share a value and a goal they've created? You don't need to raise your hand, just take yourself off mute. Laura, I see you want to say something. You're on mute. No, you don't want to say anything. I could have sworn I heard you.
I'll
wanting
share
to say-
mine.
I can give an
Maria.
example.
Yeah, Maria, please.
I want my core value is lifelong learning and growth. And something I learned along the way is to dig where it hurts when you're not quite sure which direction to go. And so a goal I set for myself was to become a better speaker, and I joined Toastmasters. So it's like on the calendar. I have to go once a week. I spent money. So it's that motivation of making that investment and committing to doing it.
Yes. Oh, I'm a Toastmaster also. I love it. I've been doing that for over 20 years. Love it. Okay, that's great. Thank you, Maria. Now, if you can see how to create a smarter goal, I know we all know about SMART goals. And what I love about Second Act Women, Chelle, you know this, that Barbara and Lupe would create smarter goals. And this is also a theme with the 12-week year. I focus on 12 weeks at a time when I create my goals. I don't start in January and hope and pray that by December I've gotten it all done. I focus on 12 weeks at a time. So this is going to help you just at least understand on, yes, they have to be strategic and specific and measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. But the ER is it executable? So Maria, when you set your goal to attend Toastmasters and you put it on your calendar, you're actually carving out that time to go, right? So what small step can you take? Put it on my calendar. We also can break down a big goal like the marathon thing to, 12 weekly steps. But then the R is for how are you going to reward yourself? How are you going to re-energize yourself? And what I love about this, especially when you're type of person like me, I'm a recovering perfectionist, and I was always going. I was always going. And I never stopped to reward myself. Because my manager would say, great job. You killed it. You, even though you work part-time, you're the highest salesperson in the office. What you got going on for next month? What's next month? What do you have in the pipeline for next month? So I never got to enjoy it more than maybe a high five. And now every 12 weeks, I reward myself. So that is either with, I put here, like you could do a massage, you could do a 3-day weekend, you could get off of work early on a Friday. You can buy yourself an article of clothing, you can spend one-on-one time, with somebody. So think about that as your reward. And how are you going to, if you are always going, how are you going to give your body that mental break? So if you think about what you value, you put it up here. And I want, what's the result? What's your end result? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to land a position? Do you want to eat, whole foods, whatever that is, or you want to lose 10 pounds would be the result there. And how are you going to track this and measure it for 12 weeks? That could be the steps that you take. That could be the number of times you hang out with that person that you go out with friends a certain amount of times a month. It could be how many resumes do you send out? It could be how many prospects are you calling? How are you going to measure that? So it has to be measurable.
From a career perspective, not resumes sent out, because your networking is going to be much better use of your time.
Thank you.
How many networking calls do you have? How many, if you could reach out to 5 people a day, and then what is the result from those connections? How many people did you actually get on the phone?
Yes.
How many times did you ask for help every day? Or do some type of ask? My coach is like, you have to give 3 asks a day. Because if you don't ask, you're never going to know, right? So 3 asks is maybe another useful tool. That think about the reward of that.
Chelle, can you share? I like that, but can you share an example of an ask?
Yes, I can. I asked already two this morning. I used to do recruitment consulting for a construction company, and I'm trying to build up my small to medium sized recruitment consultancy. So I had breakfast with the CFO, and I asked her for a recommendation on LinkedIn, and she said, absolutely. And we were just chatting. She called me about 11:30 this morning and said, hey, I've got some things going on. I need your partnership. And just that ask is turning into business for me.
Ooh.
So that might be an example of an ask. Another example is because I'm trying to grow my business, or if you're trying to grow your LinkedIn profile, who could you ask for a recommendation that hasn't already given you one? If you go out and look at mine, one of my goals was to increase the people who I've worked with on both an executive perspective. So in January, you'll see like 7 new recommendations for me just because I asked.
That's awesome. Thank you.
I can give you another example. I had a networking call with a person on this and he asked, well, who do you know? And I've sent him like, here's a group, here's 2 more people. So it can be that type of ask as well.
And why? Why is that important? Right? Like, well, for you, you want to grow your business, right? You want to be seen as the thought leader. You want to have these connections, or at least share with your history of how you've worked and been able to help people, right? With those recommendations. So understanding your why for asking is also important. And when are you going to start this? The great thing about doing this for the 12-week year, it doesn't have to start in January. It can start at the beginning of a month, at the beginning of a week. Those are great ways to get motivated for your start date, and then put the end date as what would be your 12-week stretch. So then you can actually pay attention to this. It's more about being laser focused and then focusing on what you can control and what is one small step you can take. And for Chelle, it was sending out an email or a LinkedIn or calling somebody, right? You said dials, didn't you? You actually dial.
I texted that certain person, but I also like had asked past clients to do recommendations, and they get busy, and I just went back and re-asked. So I've got a person who I led, Lockheed Martin, who has her own business, and I just went back and asked, and she's like, oh my gosh, of course I'm going to do that for you.
Yes. Love that. And then how are you going to reward yourself at the end of the 12 weeks when you look back and you say, look at all these recommendations that I got? Reward yourself for that. It wasn't going to happen if you didn't actually do something. So one of my favorite hacks, so that is how you create your strategic plan with each of these. So you can print this out and use it for all 3 of your goals if you would like. And then my favorite to be able to start a new habit is called editing. Has anyone heard of that? Yes, Jolene. Great. So a few of you are nodding your heads. So the idea here is to do something you already do. So hopefully no one has to remind you to brush your teeth or what else? Drive your car or do your nighttime routine. So think of something you're already doing and add a new habit to it. I heard somebody say they wanted to be a lifelong learner. And I think Toastmasters was, Maria, I think that's what you said, you were going to go to Toastmasters. But what if, Maria, your lifelong learner was listening to podcasts for great speakers, right? So how are you going to implement that in your already busy day? I'm sure, Maria, you already have a million things going on. I don't want to add one more thing to it. But I have a client who, when she puts on her makeup in the morning, it takes her about 20 minutes. She listens to a podcast. Then when she's on the drive to her work, it's a 20-minute commute. She listens to the rest of it. And on her way home, she listens to the rest of it. So no, she's not sitting down and taking notes, but she's listening and it's coming and it's absorbing through her mindset there. So she just gets an hour in of a podcast every single day.
Yvette, we have about 10 minutes, so I want to just be mindful of time and maybe keep going.
Okay, so this is where the idea of habit stacking to actually get your shoes on, get to that drinking however many bottles of water, whatever your goals are with your career. How are you going to make that phone call, or how are you going to send out that email, or how are you going to add it to something else that you already love to do? One of my clients would get on her bike, stationary bike, because she loved to watch a specific show. And when that show came on, she just got on her bike. And after a while, it was like Pavlov's dog. The show came on, she was on her bike. And that's what I want you to think of. Not too much brain fatigue going on here when you stack it to something else. So you have the opportunity to say what your current habit is. When I do this, I'm going to start this new habit. And when I struggle, what I'm going to do, or what's the 2-minute rule for you if you do struggle. Any questions on habit stacking and smarter goal planning? No need to raise your hand, if you can just speak if you want. And we're running out of time because I want to make sure that you get an opportunity to close. I'm just going to, the few takeaways is prioritizing and making your values something you accomplish on a regular basis. I hope you got that from this session. Yvette will send you some information if you are interested in now moving forward with a plan. The idea of PQ, and I'll just stop here, is a lot of people gain the insight. So you've gained some, hopefully gained some insight today. That's just 20% of the equation. And I'm sure Shelley could attest to this, that when you practice with your mental muscle, that's how you build strong, lasting habits. So for me, I know that Shelley uses positive intelligence with her coaching and her recruitment process. And I use it for, let's not sabotage ourselves, and let's understand where our saboteurs are coming from so that we can implement that insight that we're learning about productivity and all the tools. But now when Yvette goes away, when Shelley goes away, you're going to have long lasting habits that are going to benefit you for the long haul. And this is the end of my presentation. I just want to thank you all for your time today. And I'm going to let Shelley take it away.
Yvette, thank you so much for your insights on core values, habit stacking. It's so true that when people do these types of things, especially in their career search, they fast track, they build habits, and they find work and employment that aligns better with their values. 2 of my clients, whether you know it or not, have actually partnered with you, and I've seen them be more productive. I've seen them increase their pay. I've seen them just be happier in sitting with who they are, in knowing what their values are. Please join us on June 6th for aging. You're going to see a lot of posts from me out on LinkedIn and on Facebook and our Facebook pages around myths of aging workers and hiring people. So please join us on February 6th. Please subscribe to cocareerconnectors.org if you have not already. And we are growing organically. We've grown just through word of mouth, and we've helped over 1,500 people since March of 2021. If this content has meant something to you, leave us a Google review. If you have gotten more motivated, learn something, we'd love to hear from you. We hope to see you soon, and it was a pleasure having all of you. Welcome to Colorado, Natalie. Paula, thanks for joining us. Amy, Brent, Kevin, Marianne, as always, love seeing you. Kelly, Pooja, Oksana, Kim, and Malay. Please reach out to me personally if I can help you. I'm here to best support you. I can provide you resources. There is enough space out there for all of us. And if one door has shut and that door has made you feel like you are stuck in this valley of inner critic judgment, have a chat with Ivette and or me, because we can help you get out of that. Ivette Flower focuses on productivity. I focus on everything talent, recruitment, solutions, career coaching, job search, professional development. Let us know how we can help you. Thank you so much. Have a great Monday and have a great week. Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.